The University of Missouri-Columbia, Mizzou, has been getting some national and worldwide media coverage for their recent racial tensions and how students have been reacting.
Protesting incidents of racism on campus and calling for the university's president to resign.
My name is Concerned Student of 1950.
I'm resigning as president of the University of Missouri System.
You need to get out. Hateful racist threats of violence against black students and faculty posted on Yik Yak.
But I believe that media is really good about showing the extreme highs and the extreme lows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask real students real questions and see what they have to say.
I haven't seen much change when it comes to the concerned student thing. We receive emails from the intern chancellors, but that's about all the change we've seen. Nothing on a university scale yet.
The thing that I did notice is that the students are standing more together.
As a Latino student coming from Puerto Rico, it's really interesting to see how this all played out because back home we don't really experience racism at all. A lot of people are speaking out more, but other than that, campus has remained exactly the same.
People just realized how much work we actually have at Mizzou to do, because I guess people didn't really realize, like, we do have people on our campus that are racist, and people are like, oh no, everyone's just upset for no reason, and then Yik Yak came out and everybody's like, oh, darn, that's a thing at Mizzou. So, I mean, it just shows that we have a lot more work to do here. I mean, is it necessarily bad? No, because this is a part of the United States fabric of what we are, but it's something that we definitely are starting to realize, I feel like, that we need to work on.
Peyton Head, he interned for somebody on Hillary's former staff, I believe, and his family is also rather influential, so I think he's trying to get an early start in politics. Our whole student council is black, so I don't think the campus is really that racist because we don't really care that much. I'm pretty sure he also lied about KKK being on campus.
It's just really lifted the lid on the power of just anonymous speech, because you have 39,000 students whose lives are all brought to a halt for a day and a half.
For me, I don't think like much has changed in my life personally regarding what happened, only because I'm also a homebody and I don't really leave unless I have to be on campus. Should have be open to everyone's opinions, even if it's you disagree or agree.
The day that the shootings were like supposedly supposed to happen, a lot of classes were canceled and it really just blew up, but it was so eerie to be on campus. There was no one here, but this week it doesn't feel like there's a change at all in anything. Like everything seems the same as it was the week before anything started happening. So at this point, it doesn't really feel like there's much of a change that has happened.
A lot of people think the concerned students are done now that the chancellor and the president have stepped down. I just want to say that they're not done. There's still demands, there's still problems. Has been no change other than the people stepping down. Nothing immediately has happened, and although they're not out in their tents anymore because there is still that threat, people are still like not feeling comfortable on campus. But other than that, there's been no immediate change to policies or anything that we know of.
With Concerned Student 1950 and the movement on campus, I've actually been pretty involved with it. How I've changed through it has been me opening my eyes to see who I really am, giving myself a purpose and being comfortable with who I am without anybody else's approval or validation. And the movement has also taught me to not be tolerant to things I'm uncomfortable with, to actually have a voice and actually speak up on things. So that's changed my life forever because I've been trying to figure out why I've been so silent, and this movement has given me a voice. People only know what they see on TV, and so when you show them something so dramatically, it's almost a take back. You know, some people get confused, or some people are like so quick to brush it to the side when at the end of the day we're all humans.
Other than like when it was happening, life kind of just, after it kind of like, it seemed to like really die down, life just kind of went back on the way it was before for the most part, at least my life has.
I'd like to believe that there's a lot more awareness on campus about everything that's going on. I think right now it's a little too early to tell just because everyone's kind of still reacting. My hope is down the line that it'll create more awareness to some of the racial inequalities on campus, and it'll promote real change.
I think the main thing that comes out of this is that everyone can have their own different perspective on it, whether you agree with what the protesters did and the way they went about it. Me personally, I totally agreed with their end goal, but I didn't really totally agree with all the methods. But at the end of the day, like, I think it's just a positive thing for Mizzou, because now we started a nationwide conversation that wasn't really maybe talked about as much as it should have been before, or a conversation that hadn't been really as open as it is now. So I think we just have to think of it in a positive light and remember that it's a really historical time to be on Mizzou's campus, and kind of just think about that in more of an optimistic way.
What I do on campus, it hasn't affected my life a ton. Heard about it a lot, I've talked about it a lot, but as far as day-to-day life, it hasn't really done anything to me. I wouldn't have known anything that's even going on if it wasn't for social media, I feel like.
Ever since, the national media was covering all the protests at the University of Missouri and whatnot, since then, I can't say that anything major has changed in my life. It's pretty much business as usual. I think the policies they want to implement and the culture change that they want to create takes time. And that's not going to happen in the span of a week. It's going to happen, in the span of years.
I think the media made it look so much worse than like it actually was here. I had family members call me, make sure I was okay, I wasn't getting hurt or anything.
I think that people are definitely talking about issues a lot more, not even just surrounding Mizzou's issues, but just people are more open to talking about issues around the world. The general attitude I don't think has changed much, but it started a conversation and it sparked things in other places.
Some of my classes got canceled, but overall there's been a lot of support from my teachers. A lot of them have been supporting the students or supporting the faculty and are just trying to really keep everyone together and keep everyone united. A lot of people's true colors come out when tense things like racism or sexism or classism are discussed, and it's interesting to see all the different views on it, and I like learning from that. I'm just glad that there's activism on campus, and it's really exciting, and I like being in a time where people don't feel afraid to stand up for what they believe in.
I think the atmosphere's definitely changed. I personally don't feel like I've changed all that much, definitely have more perspective on what's going on in other people's lives. Everything will work itself out.
Because a lot of students are learning and becoming more educated to not be so ignorant about racial issues. And I think that it also goes for professors who have never talked about it before are now bringing it up in the classroom.
Most of the change has been social awareness and stuff, but also unfortunately at the same time some people haven't taken it into account and effect. There's some people who are still really ignorant and rude about even with all of it. So it's there's been a lot of change, but at the same time some people don't change.
Tensions rose afterwards after he resigned and the threats happened, but other than that, I don't know. I guess they're still working on it though, so
I guess
because they're not done.
Yeah, I guess because life at Mizzou changed for a little bit, but now it's easing up and stuff.
I think a lot of people's true colors have come out. Not necessarily in if they're a good person or if they're a bad person, more as in what they believe in, which doesn't necessarily obviously make you good or bad, but it's kind of separated the campus in a sense that people who believe that there is no reason to protest are separate from the people who believe there's a very definite reason to protest. And I think that's actually an important distinction to make to go about creating further change, because I think it's helped people understand the other side, I guess. So I think there's been more of a discussion, which is the first part of changing racism, honestly.